What is up, and welcome to the Cinepax podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Casey. Today we're sitting down with Daniel, also known as Dodford, on TikTok, I believe is where I first saw you. So how's it going?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here, Tyler.
Yeah, we've been talking for maybe a year on social media I'd roughly say. I think I came across your work, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, you were probably, I was going to raise this, the first like connection I made, like a full stop on TikTok. You were like the first proper industry professional to reach out to me. And when you did, that. I was like, wow, it's real now. So
yeah, very cool.
Place in my heart.
Wow, very awesome. So tell me a little bit like how you even got started with just hopping on TikTok and creating some of those editing. I think what I first saw you for was the editing tutorials within a minute. You kind of have gone through a lot of different types of content on your TikTok. So I definitely like to dive into that a little bit, but what kind of got you started?
So I graduated uni last year, and before we left, we had to like build this like an online portfolio for like our social media, just like, you know, a proof that we were working on our own stuff to help us get into the industry. And so I started making these little I made an Instagram account, and I made these like little videos and things that I just threw on there to like my 40 followers, people who I was friends with. And then my flatmate said, you should post this on TikTok. And I was like, you know, at the time, TikTok was just the dancing app. I didn't really see it as anything different. But I threw it on there, and then like 3 videos later, like the beauty, the way TikTok is, and it just chooses sometimes for a video to just blow up. It did. Like I had like 60 followers maybe, and then a video went like semi-viral, and it got like 250,000 views overnight, and it blew me up. I got like 20k followers from it, and then just like overnight like that, I realized, oh, this is something I want to do. Before it was just like a hobby, and it was a hobby for a long time, but then it was that wake up moment where I thought, oh, TikTok is like, you can do anything you want on TikTok, and like there's an audience for you.
Yeah. And what was that first piece of content that kind of popped off a little bit?
It was like this scribbled doodle animation effect where it's like, you know, and I used like some music video clips. I used a shot from like Ariana Grande, and I think maybe that's why things blew up. I don't know, but I don't know how many views it's got now, but it was my most viewed for a long time.
Wow. Okay. And then, so what kind of content did you start creating after that? Because I know that initial hit of like, it's just crazy when you have something blow up. Like I've had 2 of my friends. I mean, I feel like everyone's first few TikToks, I feel like that's the thing with TikTok at the same time, is when someone posts, it kind of just like, I feel like their first posts do so well.
Yeah. Maybe there's a conspiracy there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I definitely think TikTok like to push the first few videos, and whether that's, you know, a couple thousand or 100,000, you can never really say. But like I do think there is they encourage you, because it definitely encourages you to carry on going and posting more. When there's one video goes like semi-viral, you think, oh, you're always chasing that high.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's nothing like that TikTok high of just thousands of comments rolling in. I did one, and I didn't even intend for it to blow up. It was just of my wife, and it was a photo of her flying a drone. I was editing a thumbnail, and I was just like, hey, like I'm gonna show you. I don't even do Photoshop tutorials. I was like, hey, I'm gonna show you how to edit an object out of a photo. And then I edited this guy riding a bicycle. So then everyone's like, oh, that's not an object. And then basically people are making like sexist comments, like I should have edited my wife out because like they were trying to say like women are objects. And I was just like, it was horrible. But I was just getting thousands of like, and then like people saying like, oh, this isn't how you technically do it. It was just crazy. So that wasn't, I mean, I've had other ones do a lot better, but that one was just one of the ones that kind of popped off, and sometimes not for the right reasons.
There doesn't really seem to be, you know, like you can have a video get loads of views and it still kind of stays in your circle. Like I've had videos with like 1 million views, but it's still like kind of my
Yeah.
demographic, my audience. And so the comments aren't like really toxic. Sometimes they completely break out of that. And then you can tell straight away because the comments are, they're way meaner. They clearly
Hmm.
don't know who you are. They don't know your like backstory and history of, catalog of videos. And so it just gets way more toxic. And I like
Yeah.
staying in that I like staying in that like sort of circle where you can tell that everyone who watches it, has either got like a rough sense of who you are or follows you. And then it's just so much nicer. It's a more positive, peaceful environment.
Yeah. I saw a video the other day, somewhat just talking about like different hashtags you use and whatnot, like how like, and you never know, it's all theory and whatnot, but just like who TikTok will show the video to, and it's just interesting. So I definitely agree. Like if you can stay within your kind of realm, because I feel like that wasn't all Photoshop people at that time. It was
Yeah.
definitely a little more general. So yeah, but so after that first initial post, what kind of posts did you start making after that? Where was obviously somewhere in the tutorial realm. Yeah, where did you kind of go from there?
So at the time, I was totally ready to graduate university and then like try and squeeze my way into like the music video world. I really
Mm,
wanted to edit music videos and be like a full-time editor and work with artists and stuff and be, I don't know, like be like conventional filmmaking industry. And then so my whole content was revolved around like breaking down music video effects, sort of similar to like Brian Delamata. He was like an inspiration. And then eventually I got bored of it because I was like, I kept waking up every morning thinking, what the hell do I make a tutorial about today? I was trying to find things to work on. It was just, it wasn't scratching any itches anymore. And so I thought, okay, I stepped back. What do I like about these music video effects? The editing, of course, but it's like the filmmaking theory behind it as well. So I started moving into like film theory. I broke down like and analyzed a lot of movie scenes and stuff like that. I did that for a long time, and I really enjoyed it because it obviously it naturally opens the doors to a larger audience, and there was more content for me to make because there's like an unlimited supply of film scenes to look at. Um, and then again, I got bored of that, and then I was at a major crossroads like the end of last year because all I'd ever made on TikTok was like the editing content stuff about effects and tutorials and things. And I thought I really want to branch out and do stuff about me. I want it to be more personal, but I was scared. I was really scared. And I remember asking a lot of people, I was like, should I just do it? I was worried that people weren't going to like it and stuff. And then I just took the plunge, made some videos of just purely about me, just like working on my storytelling skills. And then since then, I haven't really looked back. Like it's just so much more enjoyable. Like it's way more fruitful, just only focusing on telling my own story, because you're never going to run out of that. I don't have to wake up and think about what to make, because I can just think about, the day I had yesterday, and that's something to post.
Nice. And then I also saw you branch out to YouTube as well. What was that experience like?
Well, I've always wanted to do it. In fact, I started posting YouTube videos 10 years ago. So I've been doing
I
it for a
saw
long
that.
time.
I stalked you a little bit.
Yeah, but I wasn't doing it seriously or long term or anything. And then when it came New Year 2022, it was like it's like an objective of mine for this year to take it seriously for the first ever time. I started it with my friends Tejas and Sean, and we said, okay, we're going to upload. We try to upload every single weekend and hold each other accountable. Because we just think if you're going to like stay long term as a content creator online, and you want to be around and you don't want to like lose your momentum, I think YouTube is the homepage for any type of creator. And if you've got like a steady YouTube with a large enough platform, then you're safe. Because I think TikTok, you could lose a TikTok page tomorrow and I wouldn't really have anything. That's why I'm building these other platforms. I've got the newsletter now, so I want to stick around longer, obviously.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was interesting because 2020, my cousin was on TikTok, and it was like when TikTok was early blowing up, and he's like, it was probably 2019. and he's like, hey, you should hop on TikTok. You should. And I had it, and I like didn't make anything serious. And then I got back on in 2020, and then I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this serious. I started doing it. And then I roughly got to like 100,000 followers like within like a year. But then I kind of just stopped. Like I would do a few here and there. Like I wasn't creating the content like I was beforehand. And then now, like, I mean, I'm making a few here and there. I've been kind of doing more sloppy stuff, less polished. But I don't know. It's interesting to just see how quickly it falls off. Like me and my friend Andy, we have this one friend, and he went crazy viral. He has like 3 million, 2 million followers, and like it's interesting to see how many doors it opened up for him. It's definitely pretty crazy. But I do agree with YouTube. It's because I've been doing YouTube for a while. I mean, you kind of know which videos are going to blow up at the same time on YouTube. Like, whereas TikTok, you could be like, you put a lot of effort into a video, and then you'll be like, oh, and then it just won't do anything at the same time.
Yeah, and the ones you work on least get the most views. It's just
Whereas on YouTube, I feel like obviously it's somewhat similar. I feel like there's also like I made this video, and it's not a crazy amount of views. It's like 250,000, but on YouTube, I feel like that's worth a lot more, obviously. Like
yes,
YouTube,
definitely.
That's what I've learned as well. YouTube views and like YouTube as a platform, that's the reason I was able to start Cinepacks with my partner, is because it helped us grow just the online store so quickly with the tutorials that I did early on, because I already had those. So I already had this audience. So they already trusted me. They're already like, okay, watching my videos for tutorials. We started the online store, and it just did well because I had the YouTube audience. Yeah. But as well as like affiliate links are super useful in YouTube. People like, I feel like are more likely to buy something if they're already on their computer.
Yeah. There's definitely just in general, YouTube is just the better way to make money as well. No one can be a full-time TikToker unless you're one of the massive names, but you can. There's people who make a full-time income on YouTube with 5,000 subscribers, and it just offers way more opportunities. I do agree that YouTube views are much more valuable. My problem was that when we started this YouTube journey this year, literally my first video I posted, maybe my second one, like went crazy, got like 300,000. And it gave me like 11,000 subscribers, and like my favorite YouTubers, Corridor Crew, they subscribed to me, and it was like crazy. It was sort of surreal.
That's crazy.
And just since then, I've been trying to chase that, but like because I viewed that as like the first stepping stone, and it was going to be kind of like an exponential growth, which was naive. But it's difficult. It's really difficult to keep that momentum going on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine, especially with just that video kind of blowing up like that. I mean, I saw that one, and I think the quality and everything of your content is there, and I think it's just going to take some time, but excited to see where the YouTube goes in the future. Do you have any more plans for the YouTube in the future? Like, do you have any new types of content or anything like that, or any big videos planned for the YouTube this year?
I'm posting one tomorrow, and I've been looking at why that Corridor one did so well, and I've been trying to replicate that formula, but I'm making a video that's going up tomorrow. It's about like what separates a good editor from a great one, and why lots of people suck, and why some people are just really, really good. I can't work out the title and thumbnail yet, but so I'm trying to work on that sort of formula where it's like edutainment, where it's informative, but it's all about the clean presentation. I don't really have any like long-term goals for YouTube. I said on like previous ones, like I love 50K this year, but I don't know. I feel like the ceiling could be anywhere I set it, but we'll see. Yeah,
it's crazy where just like one of those like shout outs or anything like that can just explode your channel like nothing. Like my friend, my partner Andy, he had like a short film that he shot, and it was like a horror short, and a YouTube reactor, speaking of YouTube React videos, watched it, and he literally got like 15,000 subscribers in like a day. Yeah, it was nuts. And it was just from a YouTube React video. It was like a massive channel, but like I don't think the subscribers are actually quality or like in his niche. Yeah, which kind of sucks because like he would have to make jump scare horror short films for the rest of his life now.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't want to push himself down into that.
No, I mean, he loves making like the little horrors, scary type stuff. So, but I mean, you know, like he likes doing behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. He's more of a filmmaker. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have those subscribers. It also makes it look more legit. But yeah, it's just interesting how stuff like that can happen. But also, like, there could be collabs within your niche that also can just skyrocket your channel a little bit. It's interesting because I've done some collabs with some bigger creators and it didn't skyrocket me as much as I thought it would.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I guess it doesn't really matter who you could do a collab with if, you know, the audience aren't willing to, like, if they don't enjoy it. You know, it doesn't guarantee growth and success if you've just got a big name in the title or in the video. I don't know if you watched that Mr. Beast Spotify Joe Rogan podcast, and it was unbelievable. I was hooked for it for 2 hours just because, like, hearing him talk about YouTube is mind blowing. How like fixated and hooked on it he is, and how it's like, if saying it in his own words, it's like an unhealthy obsession. I think maybe that's what like separates, you know, the general population, where we're just like sane and he's just insane because he doesn't think about anything else. Puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Because you're like, from the everyday perspective, you feel like you're really obsessed and invested in something, and then you see, you know, there's other people out there in the world who are like, yeah, they live and they breathe it every single day. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I did not check it out. I've seen little excerpts from it, but yeah, that is pretty nuts, especially just how detailed he would look into just the analytics of YouTube and every aspect of it. So yeah,
it's crazy.
It's tricky. But going back to your YouTube video, what are some of those points? If you'd like to, this is going to drop after your YouTube video drops. So what are some of the points that you kind of touched on? What differentiates a good editor from a great editor?
So like the three attributes, there's nothing groundbreaking here, but it's like three attributes that I think define someone that's a great editor. They've got great outside the box thinking. You need to being creative is one thing, but it's going the extra mile and avoiding that lazy route, because when you're editing, there's just so many times when you can like just go the predictable way, and it holds you back as an editor because, one, you're not like pushing yourself to try something new and learn a different technique, for example. But, you know, also audiences just they receive that, they notice that extra care and attention and focus on the details more when like they can tell you care about what you've made, and like that separates you as an editor. First one, what was the first one? The other one was storytelling. Storytelling is like the major thing that every editor should focus on. It's just the number one. It's the number one thing you should focus on, because everything else doesn't really matter. If you've got like amazing flashy effects, transitions, you've got all the best preset packs and, you know, overlays, that's cool. But like at the end of the day, you're just you're telling a story. If you're a YouTuber, you're telling a story, and so working on that skill, it can really separate you. It's people just spend so much time on just the effects and the little transitions and things, but if you step back and work out, okay, why does the audience care about this video? Why do I care about this video? Why am I saying it? Then it'll benefit you as an editor like beyond belief.
I agree. And I think that even goes as far as to music videos as well, because I think that's something that people don't even think about when editing music videos. Because a lot of people just pick up a camera, they just they think they just have to put the craziest effects on. But even in a music video, you're still trying to tell a story. Even if it doesn't have a storyline in it, there's still something there. So yeah, I do agree. And yeah, it's,
Story doesn't always mean storyline, you know.
No, for sure. Exactly.
Doesn't always have to be like a major plot. It's just why am I like invested in telling this tale? You know, not necessarily it's once upon a time. It's just it can be simple as that. You know, you can have story in a tutorial, and it's, you know, it doesn't have to be like, oh, when I was a kid, it's just, I want to say this because I've struggled with this, and this has held me back in the past, and now I've learned it. I'm telling the skill this way. There's so many. It can be a really simple thing. You don't have to overthink it. But once you have that perspective of like why, you need that perspective of the audience where they need to know why they're caring about what you're making.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. So as far as like on your TikTok when you started, you definitely went pretty deep into the basics of editing. I saw that for a while. You created a lot of tutorials on that. If someone's trying to hop in, I mean, if someone's trying to get into editing, where would you recommend them to start? Is it Adobe Premiere or whatever they have access to, or obviously whatever they have access to, but where are some of the places you recommend them to start?
I think if I was going to restart editing now, I mean, it's hard to say but DaVinci Resolve, you know, it's free. I haven't actually fiddled around with it like at all, but you know, anything that's as powerful as DaVinci is and costs as little as it does is it's kind of, you'd be foolish to turn that down. But the Adobe Creative Suite, just because it's great because it's all like, you know, one cohesive thing. You can bounce between all of it, which is amazing. I learned in Premiere because actually way back, I learned in Sony Vegas. That was my major introduction to editing. And I feel like I learned a lot of the techniques that I still use. I learned originally in Sony Vegas because it's just, I don't know, when I was like 15, it felt like the most, it was accessible because there was like a million YouTube videos was how to crack it for free. But also, I guess it just kind of, Sony Vegas back then, it felt like it was made for like the creative effects side. And so I kind of got all those fancy pants stuff out the way. And then when I realized that I wanted editing to be a serious thing, I thought, okay, I'll move into the Adobe world. And I tried Premiere, and I was really like daunted by it for a while because it seemed so different. But I think it's the best place to start as a beginner because one, there's just an unlimited supply of YouTube tutorials, and there's like a whole world of people who will help you through it. And After Effects kind of feels like the ending point in learning how to edit. So if you start with Premiere, it's an easy transition upwards into the advanced parts.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, that's interesting how many people took that similar path of starting with Sony Vegas. I did the exact same thing. I had like a cracked version.
Yeah.
I was downloading on my parents' computer when I was probably like 12, 13. And yeah, it definitely, you, like you said, you got a lot of those fancy pants, crazy edits out the way, using every plugin you can on there, or every effect. I remember the preview was like the person's eyeball when you like scroll over to see the effect.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Sony Vegas was definitely cool. It's a great starting point. I mean, you could even start there, but I mean, you have DaVinci now, which I think is, I hear more and more people switching over to DaVinci, which is pretty crazy. So hopefully Adobe can step some stuff up. I feel like they had their own color grading software for a while. It was called Adobe Speed Grade, and they dropped it. And then, yeah, I don't know. They just really have Lumetri right now, and
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah,
I think Premiere could do with, I hope in the near future they do a full like rewrite from the ground up. I think the whole Premiere specifically, the entire program could do with just a clean slate. You know, they could look at what's, you know, DaVinci are doing and realize where there's gaps in, because, you know, I use it every single day. I put 12 hours into Premiere sometimes daily, and it's shit. It's not an enjoyable experience because it's not very good.
Are you on a PC or a Mac?
PC.
Yeah. I just switched to. I was on. Do you have like a custom built PC or?
No, it's on a laptop.
A laptop, yeah. I just switched over to Mac, and it's interesting. I guess they just recently updated it, but yeah, no, I feel the same thing. Premiere, like especially when doing a big project, especially when you're jumping in, but when you start jumping to After Effects and Premiere, that's when it gets really dicey.
Well, also like when you jump from Premiere to After Effects, after you've spent time in After Effects and you go back to Premiere, you realize how, I don't know, how simple it is. It's very basic. There's just so many things that After Effects does so much better that it feels like it could be an easy just copy and paste it into Premiere, and it would. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a developer, but like, that would be ideal.
I've even seen things in Premiere I've watched my friend in DaVinci. He's like all in on DaVinci, and there's a few things where I'm like, I wish we had that. Like, I see him like he just like goes like, you know, like where the motion tab is in Premiere. Mm-hmm. He can like flip or horizontally flip or vertically flip right there. It's just like a button right there. It's like, that should be there. Like I shouldn't have to type an effect for, you know, exactly. Just simple things
DaVinci
like that.
Has you can like when you're color grading, you can just motion track on like the face as well, right? Yeah. That's insane in Premiere. You can't do that.
No, yeah, you can do like a tracked mask, but it's not very good. It makes all these ugly keyframes. It's not good. And then like you can't turn motion blur on in Premiere. Like you have to use transform. Like
which is like really buggy.
Yeah, like I already have the keyframes there. Like, let me just turn on motion blur. Like I don't get that. Like DaVinci kind of already has like a motion blur transform kind of thing. But so I definitely, especially how much money Adobe makes with their creative suite, I feel like they should have a big update coming soon.
They're milking us monthly. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Photoshop's great.
Have you ever worked with Adobe on any TikToks or did any sponsored stuff from them? Or
so back in like October, whenever it was, I got invited to the Adobe Creator Camp, which is like this. It was like a month-long camp thing where you can they teach you like daily these how to use Premiere, how to use the After Effects and effects and things, and they have one-on-one coaching sessions. I had some great like animation lessons with some industry professionals, and that was like an amazing experience. It was also like this community that they built. You know, you're like in a classroom with 20 other people in a similar position to you, and that was cool. Then in January, I did Adobe Live, when that was a 2-hour live stream where I just edited a video of mine for the whole time, and they asked questions, and that was fun. I remember being quite nervous for that, but then I sat down and started editing, and it was, it's just normal because I do it every day. It felt very natural.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything like sponsorships wise for them though, but that would be amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did. It was weird. I got hit up by TikTok on Adobe's behalf. So I wasn't even in contact with Adobe, and they wanted me to do like, you know how they always run those Adobe runs those like TikTok like campaigns where they make their hashtag and that. So I did one of those. Like it was cool. Like it wasn't really through Adobe, but yeah, it was interesting. But yeah,
they're a big company. They're on the list of like dream brand deals, you know,
for sure.
I don't know who else I would put on there. Maybe like a camera one, like Canon or Nikon or something.
So Apple. Yeah. So what are some of the what's it called? The goals for the future? I mean, do you want to stick to pretty much the content creator route that you're on right now? Do you want to direct? Do you want to edit people's projects? Do you want to do client work? Like where you kind of see yourself in a few years?
Yeah, I mean, daily questions these. So I think the short-term plan is that I put client work behind me because it's been kind of like the thing that's been fogging my mind for a long time. I haven't been able to pour my heart into my own content, which is what I want to do. So short term, I'd love to be able to financially support myself, just only working on personal stuff, but hopefully that'll be achievable this year. I've got like a mild business plan in the works where I developed this kind of like academy where editors can come in and they get like a seal of approval, and they get either a series of coaching lessons or something, and then they can leave and they have like a signature or a certificate that proves that they're an accomplished editor. And then ideally that would give them more opportunities, and they'd be able to say, well, I've got this certificate, I've been told by these professional editors that I'm capable, and then they get more work. And so I'd love to be able to develop that. That's like a 5-year plan. Long term production company potentially, or I do want to get into voice acting and animation, potentially directing. I don't know if I'd want to get into directing live action because I don't think that's really my thing, but directing animation is like a little bit of a bucket list thing for me. And then maybe even long term acting. I'd like to act in a movie, even if it was just a cameo. That's like on a bucket list thing as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
for sure. Nice. Yeah. I think that's interesting, getting away from the client work, because the client work is definitely hard. I went through that as well, like trying to focus on, your personal brand and just trying to grow all these different platforms and everything. And it's that the client work it's tough, because the client work's a double-edged sword, because yes, you have to deal with these clients and it's like very daunting to deal with all these tasks. But at the same time, the client work is actually really good content, because you could take those personal experiences and use those. And then I think people find it more relatable, because I remember one thing, that's what I remember on my YouTube channel is what people would say. They'd be like, whereas like a YouTube editor is editing music video effects, but they've never shot a music video. Whereas like I'm in the field, I'm shooting a music video, I'm coming home, I'm editing this, and then people are like, and I'll do like behind the scenes on it, or, something along those lines, or I can just talk about the clips that we shot and why I shot them. And then people would be like, oh, like you're actually shooting these. This is more, it's more insightful. So there is a pro to having that client work, because you're in the industry, you're in the field. Whereas like once you get out of it, that I've found a little bit of a challenge creating content. I feel like I've had a harder time creating content.
I think, it depends, of course, on, the type of stuff you're making. I think for you, especially, that works because it proves you've got the credibility. And if you're making content about filmmaking and about working in the industry, then it makes sense to be a name in the industry. I think for me personally, I'm trying to escape that. I still want to work on edutainment, but not necessarily like pigeonhole myself into being a YouTube editor or something. And so I don't know. I want to just be able to give myself 7 days a week, on my things, which, at the moment I give myself 1 or 2 days a week for working on my own things. And that's naturally, you need consistency online to have any sort of platform. That's what I'm chasing.
For sure. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think I was just getting from the standpoint, if your content is around like, what's it called, working with clients or something like that, I think, or if you're creating certain types of effects, I think it can add credibility. But yeah, for sure. I do have some questions here. We'll dive into some of those. So let's check these out. Here we go. All right. I don't even know how to say this. Adwam Billa Anga wants to know what inspires you in terms of creativity. I know that's pretty bad. How do you say it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you knew. Yeah. Nope. What inspires you in terms of creativity and new ideas?
What inspires me?
Yeah.
Difficult question. Music's a big one for me. I'll get very on the nose with ideas from music. I'll genuinely hear a lyric and it will trigger an idea. I also get a lot from movies and TV because I don't actually consume that much like YouTube, and I go on TikTok. I go on TikTok nowadays to open up and post my video and swipe off because I don't like being on there. So I don't really get much influence from YouTube and TikTok and stuff. But the few YouTubers that I do watch, like Corridor Crew, Film Riot, I've been watching for years. I get a lot of inspiration from those guys. But music's a great one. Sometimes you just have to like go outside. I find myself that I sit indoors way too long sometimes, and then your brain starts getting fuzzy and you can't think. And sometimes you just have to go outside, go for a walk, stretch your legs, and that will help. But then again, you can't force it, because I've had a few since I've been doing this. I think I've had like 3 major dips in creativity. Like it happens all the time, but like 3 that I can remember where I genuinely could not think of an idea for like a week. And then I have to just sit back and think, okay, nothing's happening, relax, just play some PS4, watch a movie, just don't even think about it. And then it will hit you suddenly. The best ideas hit you when you're not expecting them. That's what I'm trying to say.
For sure. I've noticed that as well. It's kind of tough. And then all of a sudden, when it sparks up, you just go on like a roll. You have this idea, you have that idea, and it's kind of unstoppable. So yeah, I think I definitely agree. I've had similar experiences with that. I was also going to say, backtracking a little bit back to your voice, and it made me think of that last video you did. I like that series where you were casting different, like if they redid Pulp Fiction in 2022, or I forgot the other one you did, but both those were very interesting. And your voice is great on those like tutorials with the overlay. So I could definitely see you being some type of voice actor. So yeah.
I would like to get into it, but the only voice I can do is mine. I would just be typecast as British guy in any animation. But it would be a cool experience. Yeah,
for sure. I could see that. But that series was super cool though. I definitely liked that idea. Do you plan on doing more of those, or you're kind of...
I do. I that started because there's this website called, it might be called mycast.io. And I got, several years ago, before any of this, I kind of just got obsessed with it because I realized I really liked like the giving yourself the task of recasting movies. And it was like a whole large community on this. And you could, I would watch any movie from like the 70s and think, who would play this nowadays? And it was like a bit of just a fun hobby. And then I thought it would be a fun idea. I could make an entertaining video. I'm always thinking of new ones. I'd be down to do a new film for this, but I mean, have you got any ideas?
I don't know. What are the 2 that you've done 2, right? You did Pulp Fiction, and what was the other one?
Pulp Fiction and American Psycho.
Yeah. I don't know if one comes to my mind. I'll let you know. Did you see that? Are you going to see, from an editing perspective, I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once last night.
I haven't seen it yet, but I heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. You definitely should check it out. It's just wild. It's
Where did you watch it? Is it in like theaters or?
It's in theaters, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But what was I was gonna backtrack a little bit as well, because I felt like we didn't cover this. So one of the things that I was really impressed with early on with your tutorials was how much information you were able to cram into 60 seconds. I think that was one thing that you were really hitting. One, how did you go about, like, how would you structure that, like, to make sure, because you made it so like easy to follow in a sense, like, whereas like you don't have to go to YouTube and watch a 5-minute YouTube video of someone rambling. You could literally pull up on your phone. You could be like, oh, like I want to try that, and just click, click, click. So what was your thought kind of behind that? And it's so much value as well, like just in that short little 60 seconds. What were your kind of goals with that?
Well, firstly, I'm glad that you recognize that. That's good to hear that it worked. Yeah, it started because I was just really sick of the way YouTube tutorials are, and I don't know if it's really the case anymore, but definitely as it was 3, 4, 5 years ago, every YouTube tutorial would have a 5-minute intro, and it would not get to the point, and there would be rambles and stuff, and so it really just began as like a frustration. I think I could do this. I could squeeze this down in 60 seconds. It would have all the talking points. I've also kind of always had a bit of a, I don't want to say a talent, but like I've had a bit of a skill for condensing things. Like if someone, in school, if someone needed to shave 1,000 words off an essay, I would know what to cut. I feel like I'm very, I don't hold on to things. Like I'm not married to anything I make, so I can like cut things like without feeling guilty about it. And as a result, like everything I make, it hopefully it feels like tight knit and compact, which is exactly what I go for. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched like the YouTube tutorial world in a while. Maybe it's improved, but it pissed me off a lot back in the day.
Yeah, no, I that's definitely where I was with my YouTube tutorials as well. I would try and make just a short intro and then just dive straight into it. But especially now with like the timestamps, I try and do that as well. If I do ramble on in the beginning, I'm like, hey, just jump ahead if you guys.
You're one of the good ones.
Yeah, for sure. So, but I totally agree, especially with like the ad spots in the beginning, because I think even Film Riot now will even put like a little chunk in the beginning where they're so good at like sneaking in their ads though. Sometimes they're so good I'll actually watch them though.
I watch most. They have like probably the longest tutorials on YouTube actually, but they have like the longest watch time because they're so hilarious. They're skits. They'll have skits like which completely detract from the tutorial, and it will just be a separate thing. But because it's so well made, that's the difference. Some people just like their videos are long because they just sit on front of a camera and talk, which is boring. But like when you put in the time, like we're going back to the storytelling, it means that it guarantees a longer retention even without like the clever tips and techniques and tricks to boost it.
And that's what YouTube's all about is viewer retention. That's how you make the money. That's what YouTube wants to see. That's what YouTube's going to promote, is if people are watching your video for a long period of time and then they're going to promote you. So yeah. Cool. All right. I just want to touch on those 1-minute tutorials. I mean, do you plan on doing more of those? I mean, I just know there's so much value in there. I mean, that's the tough thing between YouTube and TikTok is you can go onto TikTok and you can get a quick, snappy tutorial just like that. Because I've noticed when I did those tutorials, they did somewhat well as well. And sometimes I just film them off my phone and just knock them out like that, and they'd even do well. But it's tricky because there's only so much, and I wouldn't want to do a 3-minute tutorial on TikTok because I know you can do longer. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that, but I know you can. But I just wonder what the actual, like how much you can actually cram into, like, because you could do part 1, 2, and 3, but like how much you can actually do on TikTok at the same time.
Well, now TikTok, you can do 10-minute videos, but I think realistically, everyone who's swiping down on that app, they're giving something seconds of attention span, and if you'd have to do a really good job to keep someone. If it's a tutorial, you'd have to do a fantastic job of making that video any longer than 60 seconds. I don't think anyone's sticking around unless it's like the only way that you could have like a 10-minute tutorial on TikTok is if it was a breakdown for like, genuinely an Avengers level of VFX shot where it had multiple layers and it was all different sections. That would be, I'd watch that for 10 minutes probably. But
Yeah, for sure.
it's funny you raise this because I did shoot my first TikTok tutorial today for the first time in like 6 months. Wow. And the difference is now, like, I've been putting it off for a long time because I just haven't been interested in doing it. It feels like it's a step away from what I've established myself now. But I decided I can still do tutorials if I squeeze in like the personality that I've established recently. And so now, like, I can make them, but they're much more comedic. They've got like a different humorous tone as opposed to back in the day, which was like, here's the effect, here's where it's being used, here's what it looks like when I do it, and this is how you do it. That was very like simple. It's kind of like a binary. And then now I've expanded to like, hopefully the Film Riot. I'm inspired by Film Riot because they have their skits and their humorous tone in their tutorial.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think that always makes the tutorial just more engaging and more than just a tutorial, more than like an instruction manual that you get,
exactly.
Which has its place, like if you're technically trying to learn how to do something, sure, that works. Like if you're searching a problem, like you always appreciate those YouTube videos where it's all like, hey, why can't I drag this in? Or you know what I mean? Like, like stuff like that. How do I scale and have warp stabilizer,
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta nest.
You got to nest.
You got to nest. Yeah. Nesting. Cool. We got a bunch of questions. So Lone Bacon wants to know, what should a person know who wants to be an editor, and where should they start? I think we somewhat covered this, but what should they know? Someone know who wants to be an editor? What should
they know? Well, we kind of established those: Premiere, Sony Vegas, wherever you can, DaVinci.
Yeah. Or even on your phone, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if that's all you have. What mobile editors have you played around with? Was it you who did that, or may have been someone else on TikTok? Or did you touch on the mobile editors?
Yeah, I did like that. I tried every mobile editing app so you don't have to video. And
that was you, yeah.
I played around with like most of the big ones for like an hour or two. I think I ended up liking CapCut the best. CapCut was my favorite. I was impressed with most of them. I think it's Chinese maybe, but like it's I was impressed with most of them. But like if you want to get into editing, by all means start on your phone, but it's limited. It's limited, and it's not the future. Like, you're not going to be able to have a career from editing on your phone, and it's holding you back. So as soon as you can, get on a desktop, get a MacBook, get a cheap MacBook, and work on a proper, piece of software. I think if you're going to get into editing, the thing you have to know your worth, first of all, because there's such a demand for editors, and there's, they're needed. They're so valuable. Being an editor you're a valuable person, and so much of the time they're underappreciated. So even if you're starting out, even if you're a beginner or an amateur editor, you're still like in a powerful position, because there's people around you who can do similar jobs to you, but no one can do it the way you can. No one will ever be able to edit exactly the way you can. People can copy you, but it won't be the same.
Yeah.
And you've got to take advantage of that and know your worth, and stop bloody underselling yourself, because there's so many editors who do that, it's a crime. It's a crime, and people get away with it because a lot of editors don't know how much they could be charging. And I was a victim of this for sure. Like, it's for a long time. I didn't really know, like, because I wasn't in a network, I wasn't in the community of editors. I didn't understand. I didn't understand how much, not necessarily even like money wise, but just like how valuable your step in the production is. You would be, a production would be nothing without the editor, genuinely. And so you're an instrumental part of the process. So just as soon as you recognize that, then it's just more like you feel more accomplished, and you can get paid more naturally.
I like it. Yeah, solid answer. I definitely had a similar journey of not valuing my time editing and realizing that even like when I was getting hired to edit music videos, because just starting out editing music videos, I would take all the gigs and then realizing how much actual work I was putting into these and
Yeah.
the amount of time it takes and just everything, especially if you're doing effects at the same time. It's wild. So I think valuing yourself. I bet you can't also don't be in denial if you have no skills as an editor. Also, like you have to build those skills. Obviously,
Yes.
you have to value your position for sure, but also you have to pay your dues in the beginning and kind of just
course,
learn.
you got to work up to that.
You got to work up to it. Agreed. But it's interesting. The mobile editing, I do agree. I think it's interesting because I think it's cool because I'm used to the desktop. So I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like I could do it with my finger at the same time, you know? Sometimes I'll chop up like a TikTok or just something that like I don't want to airdrop to my computer. But I think it's an interesting place to start, just learning like how to trim clips and whatnot. Like I've used Adobe Rush, which I think is only free if you have the suite, right?
I have on my Premiere Rush. I mean, I use it to film everything, and it's the best like mobile camera, the Premiere Rush one, for free.
Oh, really?
For sure. And I don't even know if I've never actually messed around with the editing part of it.
Oh, it's not bad. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff. You can speed up clips. You can do multiple layers, record audio, everything. So, I mean, I've chopped up a few videos in there. It's all right.
In general, I was impressed by it for sure.
Yeah, but
in general,
then again, like just especially us because we've been on desktops, like just getting on the computer, it feels I don't know. It feels a little chaotic being on the tiny phone, just like dragging these clips, trying to trim
when you know what you can do, you realize what you can't do on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So let's dive into this next one. We got. Man, I gotta stop reading these names. Kasadubu Magar wants to know, have you ever had any celebrity interactions since you started being a creator?
No, because one, I don't leave the house, and the biggest celebrity interactions that I have are like the comments. And sometimes you get a comment from like a big name on YouTube. I got a comment from the Corridor guys, GB ASMR commented. But like I don't go to red carpets. I haven't seen anyone in flesh. I've barely even met like any of my online friends at all. So eventually I'm gonna have to like go to America or London and see who I bump into. But for the time being, no, my life is not flashy.
How far are you from London? Where do you stay at now?
I live in Norwich, which is like a 2.5 hour journey from London.
Okay, cool.
I live in a nice place.
Have you been to America, or do you plan on it?
I've not been to America. I do think it will have to be like an inevitability at some point. So I see myself in America at some point. I don't think I'd ever want to move to the US like long term, but yeah, I want to go to New York. Nice.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you gotta come to LA and check out Cinepax Studios
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see what other questions we got. We got Mit Par Films wants to know the best color, not your favorite, but the best. I'm not sure if that's best color in general or the best
color. He's asking what my favorite color is.
Yeah. What's the
if he's talking about, so my favorite color, khaki, olive green for sure. All my clothes are olive green. And if he's talking about color grade, I'm not the sort of person who knows that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um, the Grand Budapest Hotel. Um, yeah, I'm not sure that.
I definitely liked your series on color grading, and what was the actual name of the series? It was
It
like
was
color.
just it was just color grading.
It was just
Color
color
grading.
grading.
Yeah,
Like, and then you would have like a movie example, and then you would, or it
I
was like
did.
how
I
to
did French
recreate.
Dispatch.
Yeah,
Did a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
did like the
I did that for a
Joker.
long time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
Joker, of
seeing
course.
those. Yeah, all the time. It was actually really impressive. Where would you recommend someone to start when coloring? Because you definitely dove in pretty deep on recreating these different looks and getting that, you know, style in your videos. You know, the coloring so important, and I feel like a lot of people get so confused with color correcting, color grading. Should I use LUTs? Should I not use LUTs? I feel
Mm.
like it's this big, especially on YouTube, it's so hard to find where to start. I feel like there's just so much, you know, information, and people, that's a problem too, is people contradicting themselves, you know, or
Yeah.
contradicting each other, you know, like, hey, it's fine to use LUTs, like, oh, never use a LUT, using, you know, there's so much. So,
Um, I'll say a disclaimer. When I was making those color grading videos, I had no idea what I was doing. Not a clue. I was just like, I think by the end, like the final one I made, I had a rough idea of how to color grade, but the way I was doing it was I realized the only thing you have to like really actually learn when it comes to color grading was like the scopes. And if as soon as you understand the scopes and like the waveforms, then you can view it as more of a science, and you're not like being held down by the creativity or the way it looks on your monitor. And that way, because I understood the scopes, I could take a screenshot from the movie and like make it, you know, mathematically the same on my reference image. And that way you can like, what's the word? Like, you know, take what you've learned from that and move it on to any shot you want. And I made presets and stuff, but yeah, like I said, that was pretty much all I knew about color grading at the time. And then I found myself as being sort of seen as like an expert on color grading, which was far from the case.
yeah, I know. Have you seen that one guy on TikTok? I feel like he's like one of the only legit color people I've seen on TikTok. I don't watch his content too much, but I don't know. He just has like one of those crazy, you know, color grading. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think that's the thing. Like people who take it seriously and do it as a job, as a career, there's an endless amount of knowledge there is in color grading that I wasn't even delving into.
Yeah, for sure. But cool. Isaac Maureen wants to know favorite creator accounts on TikTok.
Is this the Isaac who works for you?
Yeah, he does. He works at Cinepax.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's
what was
very
the question
cool.
again?
What are some of your favorite creators / accounts on TikTok?
On TikTok, so Resider, number one, like one of the first people I met on TikTok, and not in real life, but he's at one point he had less followers than he had less followers than I did, and now he's, you know, he's approaching 1 million because he's amazing cinematography. People like Last Man Stanley makes amazing little short stories. Recently, I'll pull up my following. People like we've got Chad is bored. I love his videos. He makes like comedy stuff, and editors like the Julian Bass. There's so much good content on TikTok. It's, you know, it can be overwhelming.
It's hard to, like you were saying earlier, you post and just get off the app. That's one thing that I kind of fell into too, was like I was just watching TikTok like way too much. And I was like, I'm not creating anything. So I had to uninstall it for a while, because I was like, if I'm not creating anything, I don't need to be on the app, you know? So
yeah, I think also I would spend way too long on there because I first downloaded TikTok in lockdown, like March 2020, as soon as it hit, and I would spend 9 hours a day on the app. You know, I'd wake up, I play Warzone, I'd scroll TikTok in between games, and that was my life.
Yeah,
and
those were the days.
Those were the days. I look back on them fondly, actually.
Yeah.
But now when I open up TikTok, there's just a part of my brain, just like I get instantly transported to that time of my life, and I want to step away from that. And TikTok can be, I think it's possible to scroll in a healthy way, and you can use TikTok as like a healthy balanced diet, and it can be a good thing for you because there's a lot of important stuff to consume on TikTok. It's like I said, YouTube's the homepage of a creator. I think as a general member of the public consuming content, TikTok has like, you know, voices from every single demographic. And so it's just like, it can be a good thing to consume in healthy quantities. I've decided that I have to kind of be like cold turkey. If I can't sort of like ease it off. If I want to either have a healthy relationship with TikTok, I need to just say goodbye to it. But you know, whatever works for people, you know, at the end of the day.
For sure. And then Isaac wants to know, lastly, what does the name Dodford come from?
Dodford is my road name from when I grew up. It was my childhood street name, and it was called Dodford Lane. And I don't know, when I was like 14, I just made it like my private Instagram handle. And since then it became my username on everything. And now I'm stuck with it. It's I think it's a cool name. It's got 3 Ds. My name starts with D. It's pretty dope.
I like it. Nice. Is there anything else you want to say or plug?
I haven't really got anything to plug. Follow me on things, TikTok and Instagram if you want. I'm not going anywhere. So hopefully I've got some more cool stuff in the works. Subscribe to me on YouTube. That's where I really want people to focus on. But yeah, I'm happy to be here, Tyler, because like I said, I view you as like the very first step in this sort of career path that I'm on. So I'm honored.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We were definitely impressed, like when we sent you those packs when you created that glow effects tutorial. It was insane. Like just the quality and everything, the effort put into it. It was a lot of fun to see. And yeah, it was a really cool, you know, what's it called? Just a tutorial and just to really make that connection. So yeah, it's awesome to be here as well. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Cool. That means a lot. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we're about at an hour. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, feel free to drop a review on iTunes. I'll have all of Daniel's links down below. You can subscribe to his YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that. You can check us out at Cinepax on Instagram as well. Yeah, I'm Tyler Casey. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.